Hey guys, this is me, Daniel Hutchins, and today I'm doing a video that I wanted to do earlier today that I'm going to probably be doing from our friend Screen Rant. So from Screen Rant, we're talking about DC's most popular books or comics include a secret tribute to the artist Stan Lee. Okay, so the Eisner Award winning comics writer Tom King included the subtle tribute to Stan Lee in the titles of Batman, Action Comics, and Hero in Crisis. This was from 4 hours ago. Now, I know some of you guys probably were like, man, I really miss Stan Lee. I miss him too, y'all. I miss him too. So, we're going to be talking about some tributes that were to him from DC. Alright, so this was from 4 hours ago, guys. Alright, and there's an awesome photo underneath the header that has Superman and Batman and Stan Lee in a centerfold. It's so great, y'all. It's so great. So many of DC's most popular series, including Batman and Action Comics Superman, including the secret tribute to the Marvel legend Stan Lee. All thanks to the writer Tom King. Now, it's from tweets that were posted shortly after Stan Lee's death in the November of 2018, which we all remember was a very, very sad time. King shared that he had peppered his works with specific references retconning to the late Marvel writer who also contributed some unique characters to the DC comics. Tom King is a bit of a legendary creator in his own right, with dozens of significant titles in the universe to his name. After an early contribution to the Vertigo anthology Time War, he quickly increased the fame thanks to the meditative deconstructionist takes of superheroes like The Vision, Mr. Miracle, Watchmen's, Warish, and Supergirl. Okay, so he's also won the Eisner Awards and Best Writers. However, there is always someone to look up to, and for Tom King, it was Stan Lee that was the major contributor to so many awesome successes and significant Marvel characters and pop culture icon who helped bring comics into mainstream attention. It's no wonder that King thinks so highly of Stan Lee that he basically worships him, and he chose to honor him in his works. Now, related to this article is Batman Catwoman, the ending that Tom King originally planned for the Batman. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So when Stan Lee had passed away in November of 2018, Tom King revealed that he had woven some references to Stan Lee into his work by writing DC Comics Presents at the beginnings of some of his stories, adding that Stan Lee Presents to his comics was a way for Marvel to show that Stan was still involved and was appreciated after he was promoted to publisher and president of Marvel Comics. In fact, there was even an iconic logo for Stan Lee Presents back in the day. Believe it or not, the visual of Stan Lee Presents must have had quite the impact of Tom King. For him to reflect on his legendary work at Marvel's primary rival, DC Comics, which is often the target for trolling by Stan Lee earlier in his career. King had revealed that he used the phrase from books like Batman Action Comics Heroes in Crisis and the DC Holiday Specials. He's even let Stan Lee know about the tributes during an earlier meeting. Okay, so this was a tweet that he had from Twitter from Tom King. He meant so much. Now, as a tribute to Stan in his immortal Stan Lee Presents, since the starts of my career, I've tried to always put a DC Comics Present beside my titles. I told him this once. He nodded, patted my back, and said, "Forget that, kid. Just write for Marvel." And that was posted on November the 12th of 2018. And it has thousands and thousands and thousands of loves on Twitter. So, One of the most classical Stan parts of his story is that even the shrewd businessman Stan Lee used the opportunity to try to poach some upcoming talent, reportedly replying, "Forget that kid, just write for Marvel." Still, his comment to Tom shows how much he loved Marvel and how highly he thought of King as a writer. Of course though, y'all, of course though. So King did write a acclaimed miniseries, The Vision, for Marvel, but was quickly signed to an exclusive contract to write for DC and Vertigo. Okay. So former CIA officer Tom King's continuing impact on modern-day comic books is undeniable, and the impact that Stan Lee had on him is also undeniable. There's a whole generation of comics yet to be explored that writers out there who've truly followed in Stan's footsteps to strive to bring the same creativity and innovation to the world, given what's known about the ways that which Stan Lee pranked and criticized DC during his long career, though he was happy to write for him in later life. It's easy to see how he'd be amused by Tom King's hidden tributes throughout many of their biggest titles, even if he'd preferred the young writer take a much more practical approach on honoring his legacy. So there you go, guys. That is just some awesome information I want to share to you about Tom King and how he had some secret references and how he honored the legacy of Stan Lee. If you guys like this content, please slap that thumbs up button so I know you love this content, because I love this content. It's like something that's like next to level stuff. And so let me know what your thoughts are about these tributes, and have a wonderful rest of your night. And I'll be doing a few more then. Bye.